All right, so I've been wanting to make this video since I think the past 2 weeks, but I'm gonna make it now. And let me just say this: since people like to throw the word nigger around, we got some white niggas out there, some Latino niggas out there, some Asian niggas out there. Let's say it like that. Since everybody want to throw that word around, black people are not niggers. Niggas are niggas. So let me put this out here. I saw several black content creators making videos about Claressa Shields. And as usual, it's always a nigga that want to try to tear down another black person. And I'm sitting here going, man, it's one thing to cover boxing news. This shit is not boxing news. This is personal things about a boxer. So people went as so far, her family members, cousins, and different people, aunties or whatever, talking about Claressa Shields was having sex with her cousins and uncles, and she was doing this and that. And I'm sitting here going, you know something? It's something about niggas. Something about niggas that all they want to do is try to destroy black people. First of all, where kids should be protected and should be pulled away from certain situations, but they're not. I don't know what's true and what's not true about it. And to be honest with you, I don't get in personal shit. If Claressa Shields never became famous to the world, not one person in her fucking family would sit up in front of a camera and say, I got a niece or a cousin named Claressa Shields, and she was out here screwing a cousin and uncles, and she was doing this and that. Whatever it may have been, I don't know what the situation is. I had people in my own family who did some shit that yeah, okay, not to me, but to other people, where people that your own family, you motherfuckers sitting up here with these channels making these videos, might have incest going on in your families. And I'm not trying to protect that or trying to make excuses for that. What I'm saying is, why is everything always about Claressa Shields? Why is all the negative shit coming from niggas about Claressa Shields? Why is something about niggas, man? Something is really something about niggas. Something is really wrong with these niggas. You got people with pale skin. You got yellow people. You got all these other people who right now you can pull up shit. Fighters or non-fighters. And they can tell you about how they was molested as a kid or this and that, or they was violated by some priest. Nothing to talk about. It got to be a black person to get a nigga's attention. This is what this is. They're bringing Papoose name into this shit. I don't even like the voices of these women. Ooh, child, let me tell you. And Claressa, and we heard it. I'm going to spill all the tea. And I'm like, well, another big mouth broad out here running her mouth about a black woman. And like you were there. So now the cousins are talking. This person's talking. When you don't have a close relationship with certain people, you become rich and then you just keep it that way. That we wasn't cool, so we still not cool. Well, she ain't giving us none of this money, so let's try to tear her down. Let me tell y'all something. These motherfuckers ain't trying to do nothing but tear down her. They're trying to ruin her as a fighter, as a person. They hate her guts. They want to see her lose so bad, and they're trying to destroy the relationship she has with Papoose. Oh, she ain't focused. She too busy running around chasing Pap. Oh, it's like, wow. I'm going to tell you like this. My concern is not anybody else's personal lives. I can clearly see what's happening right here, though. They want so bad to try to tear down what Claressa and Papoose have. So even with Remy, oh, Remy ain't shit, Remy's this, Remy's that, yeah. Watch how they go from talking about how Remy ain't shit to trying to basically flip it around and make it seem like Papoose and Claressa did something wrong to Remy. They don't give a fuck about Remy either. All they care about is spreading gossip and rumors. Lies too. I don't know what happened in this woman's past life. I don't know what type of stuff she dealt with coming up. I saw her movie. I've heard her say certain things, and that's as far as it goes for me. I'm not sitting up here trying to find dirt sheets on this person. I'm not trying to, Deontay Wilder spoke the other. I didn't even watch the video. I see the thumbnail saying that Deontay said something about the last chick he was with, how she stole like $4 million or something, and her son helped her something that was on the thumbnail. Because you want to know something? My only interest in these fighters is what happens bell to bell. They're training, what they got planned up for the next fighter, that type of stuff, boxing news. I can care less about the personal stuff. Whatever Deontay dealt with his ex or whatever, that's something he got to figure out how he, whatever. The legal team, go to court, for whatever it is they got to do. That's not boxing news. And the fact is this. If he said that, right? I saw the thumbnail. Like I said, I didn't watch the videos. But for whatever he said, he put that out there to the public, right? So for anybody to do stories on it, well, he put that information out there. I just don't find interest in that type of stuff. I mean, Adrian Broner had words with Alicia Baumgardner and told the boxing world, I know all these boxers that ran through you. Flat out said she's a hoe. I know people that ran through you. I got videos. Remember he said that? And this was all a back and forth thing with a bunch of drama, a bunch of nonsense. This is something that people just love to do. So it's funny how now people try to act like that was never said though, right? But now it's something about Claressa Shields. Everybody want to try to find some dirt on her. You want to know something? The people of Ireland won't try to tear down Katie Taylor. They'll salute her. The Puerto Ricans won't try to tear down Amanda Serrano. They'll salute her. Japanese fighters are not going to try to tear down Inoue. They're going to salute him. Chinese fans are not going to try to tear down Zhale Zhang. They're going to salute him. Lomachenko's people are not going to try to tear him down. They're going to salute him. It's just something about a bunch of stupid niggas that if you got dark skin, bottom line, if you're black, period, we just got to find something to say. That's our rightful place in this world. It's just to try to tear down black people. Because we're just a bunch of stupid, thirsty niggas that would try to do anything to get views and subscribers and likes. And y'all sit there like y'all so concerned about what happened. First of all, man, certain shit you shouldn't even get involved in. And these dudes are more divas than these fucking females are. Sitting up here getting all into it, playing little clips of who said what and who did that. Man, that's personal shit. That's family shit. That shit people need therapy for. That's the type of stuff, like I said. When I was about 14 years old, I remember this chick named Nicole. Her mom was an airline stewardess. And Nicole was like 16. And she's like 16 years old. 15 or 16. I think 16. And I remember like they lived in some nice little like apartments, like condo type apartments. And like you go to the house and Nicole will come to the door with her panties and a little like tank top. Booty just jiggling all over the place, right? And I remember the mother's boyfriend used to always be there. And I'm like, yo, because back then, we would exchange videos, video games and shit, stuff like that. So, whatever. But like I said, she would, and I'm like, hold up. How this dude here and she walking around like that? You know what I'm saying? I remember one day, man, they was together for a while. Because I remember by now, I'm like 16, Nicole's 18, whatever. And I remember this one time, this was one night. This was like around the 4th of July. And I remember I had came to because where their back window was, and like the little balcony. If she was in her room, they had the little slide doors. If I went back there in the cold, right, she would come to the window, and I could just hear, yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, nah, and I know her voice. And long story short, I came to find out that that dude been smashing her since she was a kid. And her mom would go to work, and she would do things like she would leave money for Nicole. Nicole would basically cook for herself, and the boyfriend was always there. And I'm more than likely willing to bet you it was he making sure she's okay. He stopped by for me, like she trusts this guy. And I heard this, I'm like, nah, I just left and I never said nothing. But I come to find out later what was going on, because what ended up happening was her mom, she was wild and loose. And it's like you wouldn't even thought they was a mother and daughter. And you barely ever saw her mom. But her mom, everything was about work and basically doing what she wanted to do. And I feel like she had Nicole before she was ready to have Nicole. She wasn't ready to be a mom, and Nicole was like a burden to her. Now, she was an airline stewardess, but she basically worked nights. So she would leave for that 3 to 11 shift or whatever her shift was, but I know she'd be gone. And sometimes she wouldn't be home 2, 3 days straight, 3, 4 days straight. And Nicole said, my mom come home sometime. She come in. She don't call my name. I just hear her walking around. She go in the shower, change her clothes. Hey, baby girl, I left you some money. Like, never. No conversation, no nothing. She didn't protect Nicole from anything. She didn't teach Nicole anything. So, Nicole is in there with this man. Nicole is walking around, and Nicole is one of the females that her body was, like, so developed at a young age. And I'm just like, I just mind my business with that. But when the story came out about what, how things went down, because basically her mom, she just wasn't there. And I'm even like cousins, aunts, cousins, like, I never met anybody else in her family. So only person I ever seen was Nicole and her mom. Don't know much about, her real father, nothing. But again, when you don't protect your kids, when you don't guide them right, when you're not there for them. You got so many parents that say shit like, I pay bills, I put food on the table, that's your job, that's your responsibility. None of us asked to be here. Most kids not even playing. People just have sex, they don't protect themselves. Baby. And my thing is, it's something about a bunch of stupid niggas that the only thing that they want to do is tear down other black people. You might have people in your family got a very dark past right now, and you don't even know it. And my whole thing is, your past is your past. You got people who used to be drug dealers, used to be gangbangers, all right, was in prison at one time. Guess what? They have a different life now. There's things I found out about certain people that I wish I didn't know, and I don't see these people anymore. That was so, and it's because it's one of these things where somebody will tell you something and then don't say nothing about it. I just wanted you to know this is why I was away from everybody for so long, and this, that. So I know that there's people that would do things and have everybody fooled. Nobody would ever think that this person would do these type of things. Y'all can talk all this shit you want about Claressa, say she could beat men. Claressa, so fucking what, man? I've posted clips on my channel. I've showed you guys. You know that there's females that jumped in the ring with men, whether it was MMA, whether it was kickboxing or whatever, boxing. You know that? Do you know that in the Army, they have this contest where they have men, like some equal opportunity shit, men and women fighting each other? Yeah, because I posted that too. And the women literally are getting the shit beat out of them. And the referee standing back like, yeah, just letting it happen. And none of them were black. But here Claressa Shields make a comment, and here she's confident in herself. And regardless, that ain't nothing but a fucking excuse. And especially in this time where y'all ain't up with a bunch of femboys anyway, because y'all be having y'all girls using strap-ons on y'all and all that. Y'all soft, a bunch of little soft, zesty motherfuckers anyway. So I don't know why the fuck y'all be acting like whatever Claressa say, like it bothers y'all so much. That shows, for one, the immaturity and how soft you motherfuckers are in the first place. She ain't talking to you. She ain't talking about you. But in your little rabbit-ass brain, she is talking about you. And y'all sit up here making every excuse as to why you don't like Claressa or whatever, she this, she that. Like, yeah, okay. At the end of the fucking day, you know, her and Papoose, whatever they got going on, she's talking about having a baby, you know, sooner than later. She wanted, you know, all this type of stuff. And this type of shit, it's like it gets y'all creative juices flowing even more. Let's see what other dirt we can bring up. Let's find something else to throw at Claressa Shields and Papoose. I mean, one chick was talking about Papoose, and she's like, oh, Papoose feeling some type of way because Papoose found out that she was fucking her uncle, and she did like all these things. I'm like, show one video of Papoose talking about this shit. Show one video. And I know factually, people make up a bunch of lies and feed it to the world. And people don't even care. I'll give you a small example of something. I watched a video a couple of days ago. And this dude was sitting there talking about the infamous battle between Big Daddy Kane and Rakim. Rakim shot some fierce lyrics at Kane. I break the wrath in half, this and this. But Kane was no slouch, and Kane fired right back. You know? And Rakim realized, damn, this ain't what I thought it was going to be. The smooth operator is real. And they went back and forth. This led to a huge battle. Kane and Rakim never, ever battled. They both been asked this question their entire careers. Why the battle never happened, is that, whatever. And they never battled. But this bullshit generation, they feed lies to you guys. You got people making up stupid videos. I seen a video the other day talking about Riddick Bowe got arrested. Same dude made a video saying Holyfield got arrested. So let's just take computer AI. Let's take all this shit and use it for the stupidest reasons. So let's make up a bunch of lies. None of those guys were arrested. I ain't talking about something they did before. I'm talking like right now. That time Bruce Lee sparred with Muhammad Ali never happened. This generation is disgusting. And this is real. Whatever Claressa went through as a kid, whatever she wasn't shielded and protected from, whatever she wasn't taught, the neglect, the abuse, everything that happened, instead of you minding your business, if you had any emotion, it should be, damn, that's sad that happened to her. But whatever's going on, or what was going on, oh, the cousin said this, the aunt said that. Okay, so she's a no good liar, but everybody else in her family are perfectly good people, right? You know, Nicki Minaj sat there talking to who? The wife of Charlie Kirk, trying to make a hero out of him, and talking about how it's not fair in defending Donald Trump. Yet, Charlie Kirk said Nicki Minaj is not a good role model for 18-year-old girls. He's completely against foreigners coming to the country. Everything about this motherfucker, right? Nicki Minaj sat there and they talked about how she lost 10 million followers after that interview, right? I never gave a fuck about Nicki Minaj or none of them anyway. I can remember early 2000s, Smack DVDs used to come out. And I remember, even before the DVD, I had a channel that was in like I forget what section you call it, but it's like, kind of like odd channels. But they had the rap battles going on in there. And I remember Nicki Minaj, when she used to look normal, when she had a human face. Remember how she talked all that shit about Lil' Kim, and then she went out and did all the cosmetic surgery too? Well, yeah. I remember her rapping. It's funny how I'm like, you notice how it's funny how people go from being normal humans, they get this money, they lose their minds. They get to the point where they think they're going to make new fans. they think that they're going to put themselves in a position where now the next anything else I do, whether it's another album, whether it's a talk show, it's a movie, a sit, whatever it is, I'm going to have a lot of people. All of these people are just about money. There's nothing real about them. You wouldn't think she was no hood chick. And the only thing good about these so-called hood chicks anyway is not even good about it, but the only thing that they will do to remind you of that is when they got beef with another so-called hood chick that looked just like them. Her and her annoying ass voice, and she's sitting there with this. You want to know something? And I say this, and I mean every word of it. It's something about niggas. You know how people say white racist people, they just innately know to be racist? I think it's just something in niggas, not black people. I think it's just something in niggas that they just innately know to feel inferior, bow down, and only have negative things to say about black people. This is the people, like, what's this comedian name? Corey Holcomb, for example. I never hear him say anything about no corny ass white comedians or anybody else. Everything is always about another black comedian. He tried to half-ass give Dave Chappelle credit. And I don't give a fuck how you feel about Dave Chappelle, none of them, because there's a lot of people, black or whatever, that I find is corny and whatever, that just don't make me laugh or whatever. So, plain and simple. But I never hear him go on some tirade and just go out his way to just talk about comedians in general. It's always, let me just target the black ones. And it's never, that was a funny show. I love that special he did, or it was funny, or I was laughing from beginning. It's always, let me find some type of way to downplay it. Yet he's always talking about comedians that's 10 times funnier than he is. I mean, I remember somebody told him how he did a special, did a comedy show in the town he's in, and they was selling his tickets for $15 and was trying to like give tickets away to get people to come in. Because hardly anybody showed up. You understand what I'm saying? Talk about yourself. Talk about how your show flopped. Talk about how people was getting up walking out of your shows. No, it's something about niggas, man. You want to know something? And I said this a long time ago. People can get Alzheimer's and shit, dementia. People can they can be in a horrific car accident and lose their mind and can't remember who the fuck they are, right? They're all fucked up from the accident. Notice how this happens to racist people, but one thing they don't forget is how the fuck to be racist. You ever notice that? So here we are, where you got niggas doing the dirty work for racist people. I mean, I know a lot of dark skin, light skin shit goes on amongst black folks, amongst a bunch of niggas, let me put it that way. Black people are bigger. They're better than that. We don't focus on that kind of petty shit. Here's another black woman who come from a situation where she could have been a victim of her own, her environment and the situation that she was in. She rises above that. And all y'all niggas do is sit up and let's just try to find a way to bury this chick. Y'all talk about the way she dressed. You talk about the size of her ass. It's always something coming from a bunch of stupid niggas. And racists will sit right there and listen to y'all and go, you know something? Those black people, those niggas see the same thing we see in this nigger. That's all y'all good for. Is being a bunch of crab in the barrel ass, hating ass motherfuckers. For Papoose and Claressa, the one thing I will say is this. Whatever y'all situations is, I made a video before where I spoke about this kind of shit where people were trying to really destroy what they got. Don't let these motherfuckers too much into your lives, man. I think people just know too much anyway. When you think that you have to tell people things so they can understand what's actually happening, people going to choose to believe what they want anyway. If a person want to see you fail, if a person is getting word that y'all relationship is falling apart, and then all of a sudden y'all show them that, nope, we're good. We're on great terms with each other. They don't want to believe that anyway. Or they just saying that because they're in front of the cameras. Y'all take somebody's situation. Do you know how many kids have been molested? There's somebody I know. Dude told me he came home, caught his son in the bed with another boy. He was 17 at the time, and he said, come to find out, when he was 13 or 14, he got violated by a pastor at a church. And the mother of the child told him, don't tell your father. So that's how he found out about his son living that life. And it's like a female. It's like them to don't say nothing to your father, right? Because, oh, well, the excuse is going to be, I don't want him to go get arrested, this, that, or whatever. They wasn't together anyway, but regardless, the whole point in that is this. You see, this little boy didn't just decide one day, hey, I like boys. This little boy was in a situation where he lived with the mom, and the mom used to let this boy go to these camps, take him to the little, Saturday events, let him spend the night and all kind of shit, and thought that the kid was in good hands. So while she out screwing her boyfriend and traveling with her boyfriend, her little son is out being violated by grown adults. See, this is the type of stuff that I'm saying, though. And y'all gonna make fun of that type of shit? Y'all think that type of stuff is funny? None of her thirsty ass family members that's saying all this shit, like I said, will be saying anything if she wasn't famous. And I don't know what's true and what's not true. And again, like I said, man, I found out some things about some people that I never knew. And it's like I said, I wish I didn't know, but then it's like, no, it's good to know. So you know how to flex with people. And then it's like, I don't even want to see these people. Because when you hear certain things about a person and then you see them, you might think you got control and restraint and then realize once you see them, nope, you don't. And then you wind up doing something to that person. So my whole thing with that is, if you are sitting up here, for all of y'all sitting up here in front of y'all cameras making videos about this woman's life or these supposed incidents, let me tell you something. You might talk like your shit don't stink and like you're so perfect, but you got sons and daughters. You may find out that they out here doing shit that y'all are sitting up here ha about somebody else. And in fact, what if one day you go somewhere or your kid goes to the store, they just get kidnapped, snatched up, and just get violated by somebody? Huh? What if that happens? And then the world finds out about it. What if that happens and that person winds up getting turned out and then what? Y'all gonna sit up and make videos about your family members? Mind your own business, man. This type of shit is corny. And it's just always something, like I said, about these niggas. That's all the fuck they do. Let's get in front of these cameras and try to tear down a black couple. Let's try to tear down a black woman. Let's try to tear down a black man. But at the same fucking time, we going to ignore all this racism going on towards us. We going to ignore everything. Let's try to make a hero out of Charlie Kirk. Let's try to make a hero out of let's please our masters. Let's be good old niggas for these people that don't care nothing about us. I sat down. 10 white people stood up and said, if we're going to talk about Charlie Kirk, I don't want to say, because I got nothing good to say about him. If y'all called us over here to talk about something positive and change that we need as a community, as a society, then I'm all for it. But we're not going to sit here and make it here 10. And there was a group of white people that came across the street. Another group came across another group. And I said, damn. It ended up being like over 100 white folks that was saying, no, we're not here to support no goddamn Charlie Kirk. And if you are, get the hell out of this circle. Do you understand that? But no, let's find a stupid, dumb nigga, a non-white nigga, and let's find this nigga and let's just have him sit here and glaze this dude and glaze Trump and make excuses for Trump and make excuses for anybody else that's a scumbag. Let's not address the real situations. Whatever the fuck happened in Claressa Shields' life ain't affecting you, ain't affecting this society, ain't affecting this world. And that is not boxing news. That's news about a boxer that's bullshit, and y'all know it's bullshit. But let's just sit here because we can't find nothing else to talk about. There's a lot of things I hear. I don't feel like I got to be the first person to talk about all the time, especially when it's something that I know there's going to be more talk about, or really have a strong feeling that there's going to be more talk about this and it's going to lead to something else, and there's going to be more to talk about. So let me just wait a couple of days or whatever. Because at the end of the day, a lot of times you hear something. I've been heard about this. This ain't nothing new. But it's so crazy how all of a sudden, even today, I'm sitting there and I see all these videos popping up about Claressa Shields' family speaks out. Like, here we go. Let me tell y'all something. With y'all perfect lives, let's hope nobody molest and rape your daughters and your sons. Let's hope that you don't find out that your uncles, your aunties and cousins, your dad and your mom never molested nobody. Let's hope for your sake that you don't find yourself in a situation that you do something and you're like, oh shit, how the fuck did I end up in this situation? How did this happen to us? How did this happen to my kid? Let's just hope you don't. One of the things I tell people is, like, example, if you were 20 years old at one point, and I think at 20 years old, there's a certain maturity level that 20-year-olds don't have that they should. Sometimes you see a 20-year-old, they don't act any different from their 10-year-old brother, even though there's a 10-year gap there. But when you're 40, you definitely should not have the same exact mentality that you had when you was 20. And when there's no growth in you, that's not a good thing. You know how you see these guys, one pants leg rolled up, the pants sagging off the ass, all that, right? Shoestrings flying all over the place. You know, it's always that still trying to look like a fucking 16-year-old, right? Every time I see stuff like that, you know what I think about? I think about all these people that sit up in jail right now who got sons and daughters that show no respect to nobody, that end up in that pine box because nobody taught them how to mind their mouth. Nobody taught them how to show proper respect. And this is the type of shit, when I look at anybody and I realize how easy it is for you to get caught up in something. Example, I was in New Jersey one time, man, and I remember we pulled up to we were coming out of a store, and where our car was parked, there was a school bus that pulled up to the light. A car pulled up next to the school bus, like the driver's side, pulled up on the driver's side, and the dude jumped out. They was chasing some other guy. They was shooting. Bullets went through the school, but yeah. And and this was a bus full of kids, and fortunately, none of the kids got hit. The driver didn't get, nobody got hit. But this was right there, just like that. And I'm just sitting here looking like, right out of nowhere. Let me tell y'all something. That situation could have easily got out of hand. And you know what the dude did that was running? He ran and he tried to run to the school bus doors. The doors are closed. I don't know but then he took off and ran. They didn't care about who they was, nothing. They didn't care about that. And we started there looking at this shit like, man, look. And then the dudes ran back, jumped in their car. The two dudes ran back, the two dudes were still on foot. And then they went down that side street, parked the fucking car. And at this point, we get in our car. And this particular day, this is about like 7, 8 years ago. And I remember we walked, and we get into the car. But when we turn and we see this young girl. I don't know how old this girl was, but she looked like she couldn't be no more than 12 or 13. And she's standing outside of a car on the sidewalk. And this dude is like, yo, somebody shooting, yo, they shooting. Yo, oh, right? And he's standing there like she's leaning on the car. He's leaning on her. This is a grown-ass man. And I see this little-ass kid. And I'm just looking like, I know you got some young baby face looking, people could be 18, 19, whatever, and look younger than they are. I know that, but this was a fucking kid. This wasn't the case. And you know what you see so much of right now? Single parents, same thing. Mama not home, no father in the house, and the kids have nothing but free time to go do whatever. And what is she doing? Okay, I'm a kid, but this dude out here buying me shit. He feeding me every day. He, whatever. And I mean, you can see it in her face. Everything. This was a kid. This wasn't no. And he's leaning. I mean, it's like it was nothing. And when I looked at that street, and I looked at where we were, and I said, yeah. And this is one of them things. Pull over, let the chick do whatever she gonna do with it. But nah. Don't know these people. But imagine somebody saying, that girl out here living this life, she doing this and this and that. Yeah. But do you realize how she got to that point? And that's why if you don't teach and guide your sons and daughters, and people think that somehow they're just magically going to come up out of that and just do better than what you taught them or your lack of teaching them, it's not realistic, man. It always takes something to happen for these people to redirect themselves and realize what they was taught was wrong. The things that they wasn't taught, they start to learn later. And they're fortunate if they come across somebody that's really in their corner like that. You got all these people where, motherfuckers, man, you get out of my house, I'm right, kicking people out the house, kick the kids out the house, the kid go stand with somebody, go stay with some friends. You got some grown ass man in the house, some grown woman in the house. And I mean, look, let me give y'all an example of something, right? Even though the dude was grown, did y'all have this much to say about Jada Pinkett when she did what she did to Will, or how she was screwing her son's best friend, lying to her husband? No, because this was a woman should have told her she wanted to help him, and how, well, all of a sudden she just wanted to feel alive. She wanted to feel special. So you go to somebody that's young enough to be your goddamn son, and you understand what I'm saying? This ain't had nothing to do with well, my upbringing was different. And according to her upbringing was, hey, be specific with who and what you want and how you want it. Be direct, be forward, and hey, it's, no, this was, I just feel like doing some dirt, and I'm going to do it. I don't care. I don't respect my husband. But then again, yeah, people had stuff to say about it, but I'm just saying, not like how y'all do Claressa, and that shit was far blown up and was all over the place, and she's talking about everything. Claressa ain't doing that. She ain't talking about none of this shit. So all these family members and different people saying things, y'all want to believe that, but y'all don't want to believe her. I tell you what. Just remember, as long as your ass is alive and you on this earth, there's somebody who can look at you and want to bring that same type of drama into your life. And I guarantee you a whole lot of y'all sitting there talking shit got motherfuckers in your family who did the same type of shit or worse. And I don't know what happened. Like I said, I'm not trying to defend anything. I'm saying I don't know what happened. I'm not saying it happened or didn't happen. I don't know what happened. It's not my business. It is not my business. Do you know how many fucking fighters out there we sit and watch fight, and we from bell to bell, we're entertained by what they do in the ring? You don't know what the fuck their background is. You don't know what they're doing. So when you hear something and you start talking about it and you want to make fun of it, you want to try to, look at what she did, look at what. Something about you niggas, man. We need more black men and black women in this world, and no niggas at all. That's who we need. And all these white niggas and Latino and Asian niggas and everybody else, the world can do without you. We need Puerto Rican men and women, Mexican men and women. You understand what I'm saying? Trinidadian men. And we don't need niggas. That's what we don't need. We don't need no type of niggas. Because all you niggas want to do is divide and conquer, seek and destroy, and then feel proud about it. As for Papoose and Claressa, I don't know what's going on. How much of this they hear about. But again, don't let these people destroy what y'all got. Somebody's past is their past. Now, if their past end up in their present, that's different. That's something that you brought on yourself. But in terms of people just bringing up something and saying, hey, well, this happened, that, I mean, there's a whole lot of shit. You could be married to somebody and don't know your whole life that something that they did in the past that you never would think they would do, it pops up. Now, if it's something so bad that it causes you to walk away, so be it. But if it's something that happened way in the past and they just never brought it up to you, and somehow, let's say they run into somebody or somebody find out where they are, and all of a sudden the person just decide, like, if you don't get it, for example, there was a chick that I grew up with, right? And I can remember one time, it was pretty much like after 8th grade, I didn't see a lot of these people. And so some years later, we are like, I was outside washing my car, and I just remember people see you, they walk over, they talking and whatever, and you seen such and such, she a word, no, she back, yeah, I seen the other day, this and that, yeah man, blah 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 blah. Now she ended up getting married, right? Now check this out. She gets married, and she wasn't living in that town anymore, but she still had 2 relatives there, so she would come and visit them. So what happened though, she came there with her husband. She introduced him to those 2 family members. Well, long story short, come to find out that I remember, like, when we would go like camping and stuff, used to like the log cabin type cabins and shit like that. So it was one of those things where we had went at one point, but come to find out, her and one of the females that was there ended up, it's something about this game, Truth or Dare. Somebody always want to try to get somebody of the same sex to kiss or do some shit. And I'm like, man, fuck that. We ain't doing that kind of shit. Okay, so for the sake of sticking to the rules of the game, they have this long tongue kiss just for the sake of the game. Well, it turns out later on that both of them was more intrigued by that kiss, which, yeah. But anyway, they wound up doing what they did. Okay? They wound up doing what they did, and then that wound up leading to them actually having a sexual affair with each other. And then it turns out that they both stayed away from each other, or she stayed away from her, however it went. She stayed away from her because I guess she realized that's not what she really wanted to do, but she got overwhelmed or whatever the fuck it was, however you want to say it. Well, that same chick got word that she was back, right? And she wanted to make it known. Now, let's just say, for example, if this was 12 years ago, she wanted to make it known to the current that, yeah, her tongue, the way she move it, oh my, it just gives you chills. And like, you're such a lucky man. Oh God, when I feel her tongue in between my toes and the soles of my feet, and the dude is like, what? Yeah, just saying. So let's say she never did nothing like that again. That was something that she did that she regretted, but she did it. This is what I'm saying. Regardless to how it happened. Just saying though. Some people might not let it bother them. Some people, it will bother them. Some people might be like, hey, let's have a threesome. But bottom line, this is what I'm talking about. People will find any little excuse to try to find something. And that's all she was trying to do, was destroy the relationship that she had then. I guess she pulling away from her made her feel like, oh, so she just avoided me. So now 12 years later or whatever, you see this chick married and you want to, and it worked because the husband was like, nah, I can't do this. You were out here screwing women. You understand what I'm saying? Now, that was a choice she made, and regardless to the fact it started with some Truth or Dare bullshit, I would have never did that. And the fact, here's bottom line, if somebody would have said, I dare you to kiss this man, I would have smacked this shit out that motherfucker with both hands. And then it said, I dare you to swing back. And then smacked his ass again. For even suggesting some shit like that. But at the end of the day, just saying, y'all, if Claressa Shields never becomes famous, nobody's talking about this shit. And that's all it is. And for you stupid niggas out there, y'all never gonna learn. I know you never gonna learn. It's something about you that if somebody look like you, it's your job and your duty to try to cause as much confusion as possible, as you possibly can. And this right here is just disgusting, man. Because, like I said, black folks don't act like that. Niggas do. That's all I got for y'all now. Catch y'all on the next video.